Here we have a new 2023 Buick Encore GX. And this Encore GX comes in moonstone gray metallic on whisper beige perforated leather, and then we have ebony accents as well. And the powertrain on this Encore GX consists of a 1.3 liter turbocharged inline 3, made it to a continuously variable transmission. And since discontinuing the Encore in 22, this is now the smallest vehicle that you can get from Buick in terms of a crossover. So of course I love the styling here. It's simplistic but just looks very refined. LED headlamps, LED fog lights, LED daytime running lights. Love the gloss black with the aluminum trim on the grille. And then taking a look at the wheels here, these are going to be 18-inch aluminum. We get passive keyless entry on all four doors, which is always nice. And it's freezing outside, so I have the heat on. I'll cut that down in a minute. But here we have the controls for our power door locks, memory seats, power windows, and our power mirror controls. Window lock here, and the driver's side is one touch up and down. And then this one also has the option of a power lift gate. So we can cut that to 3/4, max it out, or turn it off. And then you can actually open and close it just by pressing that button there. And then here we have the headlamp controls. And then here we have our power driver's seat with power lumbar support. I'm going to cut that down. Let's go ahead and take a look at this window sticker. So you actually get quite a few standard features, which is always nice. And that's a 10-way power driver's seat, and then you get an 8-way power front passenger. And then this one has the Experience Buick package, so we get the moonroof and the 18s, and then we have an option for the hands-free power lift gate. A few other nitpicks there. And the only issue I have, of course, I guess there's still a chip shortage, but this one just doesn't have the heated steering wheel that's included. You can retrofit it later, which is always really annoying. But anyways, let's take a look at this back seat room. So legroom is not terrible. I have the seat in front of me adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3". So obviously it's not the best, but I like how premium everything feels in this Essence in particular. The leather feels really nice. Have a pocket on the left side, and then on the right side you have the pocket up higher. So they just kind of tried to save space any way they could on this. And then you can't see it, but it's dark down there. There's a 3-prong household plug-in, and then the USB-C and USB-A charging port down there. And then here in the middle seat we have our cup holders here. And then I like that we get hangers on 3 out of the 4 doors. And then on the back ones, we have the little hook if you want to hang a shirt or two. And then there are the dome lights. And these are just the standard yellow ones. Fuel filler there. So coming around to the back, we have our tail lights there. I actually like the look overall. And for this to be such a small crossover, pretty good cargo space there. And then we have our spare underneath there. For those of us who don't call tow trucks. Then coming around to this front passenger side, we can actually fold the second row for even more space. And that'll fold flat. As you can see, we can just run whatever through here for longer objects, or we just have more space to put grocery bags. And then there we have our front passenger seat. So the seat bottom is pretty adjustable. The only thing you have to manually adjust is going to be the back here. Let's go ahead and pop the hood. And there's that 1.3 liter turbocharged inline 3 engine. Let's go ahead and get out of this cold, hop in the driver's seat. Oh yeah, that's nice. So I'm gonna cut the heat down just a little bit more. Like the leather wrap steering wheel, like I said, I am kind of annoyed that we don't have the heated part yet, but once that is finally retrofitted on here, that'll be really, really nice to have, especially on days like today. Now over to the radio, we do have this 8-inch screen here. We get AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth audio. And we have a Wi-Fi hotspot. We have the home page here. Whenever you have something pulled up, like your phone connected or whatever through wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you can still have the radio pulled up here as well. And we do get dual zone automatic climate controls. And we have actual buttons and knobs down below here. And then we have 3-stage heated seats for the driver and front passenger too. And then all these are going to be buttons, so we can toggle that there. Everything on the actual knobs are buttons. Then you can actually adjust the temperature by turning the knob. So I like how they did that. There's our backup camera with guidelines that turn as I turn the steering wheel. And we can cut those off if we don't want those. Fun fact, the hazards over here are kind of hidden. And then down here we have a USB-C, USB-A, and then an aux input. And then we have a 12 volt right there. And then we have our auto stop, we can toggle that, our lane keep assist, and then our traction control. And then with it being a CVT, we just hit this button behind here, pull down for reverse, neutral, drive, and then low mode, and then we can shift the CVT revs here, and it'll show you kind of where you are on the gauge cluster there. Pull up here for the brake, hit the brake, press down and disengage there. And then for our center console cubby space, pretty good size down there, and then the removable tray kind of hides what's under there, so I really like those. I didn't like them at first, but they kind of grew on me. Up here we do have a sunroof, so everything is one touch, so that'll send the retractable shade all the way back, and then you can either one touch tilt or slide, and then you can shut that one touch as well. Those buttons once again. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And I really just like the upholstery here on the leather. Looks really nice. Then over here to the glove compartment, owner's manuals and such in there. Okay size there. For it to be such a small vehicle, it's actually pretty impressive. And I love how they did this trim here. I don't know what it is, but it just looks really nice. as it comes across the top of the radio, and then it starts again on this side too. Makes it look really, really sleek. So back over here to the steering wheel, we have our cruise controls here. So standard cruise, forward collision alert, gap adjust there. And to the right side of the steering wheel, we have our voice recognition, mute button, and then we can use a scroll bar as well as these arrows to go through our gauge cluster. And then we have our auto high beams there. Behind the steering wheel on the left side, we have our track list or radio station favorite controls. And then behind the steering wheel on the right side, we have our volume controls. Push button start. Finally, here's our key fob with remote start. But next, we're going to go ahead and take this Buick Encore GX Essence out on the road for a quick test drive. So surprisingly, this 1.3 liter is not, I mean, it's not fast, but it's not as slow as I was expecting. So that's always good to be pleasantly surprised with how much a vehicle's power is putting out. And under normal acceleration, I like how the vehicle pulls kind of in that 2 to 3K RPM range without feeling like it's overexerting itself. And that's a lot coming from a 3-cylinder engine, so very impressed. And one thing I will say is, driving here at, what, 68, 70 miles per hour, I'm very impressed that this still feels like a Buick. The ride is relatively comfortable. Of course, the seats help with that. But this tiny car actually doesn't sound terrible inside, and that's saying a lot. They did a really good job with the sound acoustics in here. Brake pedal feels very, very strong. And I think one of the best things about this is going to be just how simple it is to drive. The vehicle's so small, but how much space you get inside the vehicle is what's really, really impressive. Even though this drives like a Mini Cooper, it has enough space for 2 Mini Coopers. Of course, I'm relatively speaking on both of those statements there, but it just feels very agile. It drives very small, which is good for people in this segment. And then it just still has the utilities of an SUV. And for the most part, it doesn't feel cheap in here, which is kind of surprising. I mean, it's not a cheap vehicle. It's almost 35 grand sticker. And for a car this small, that is asking a lot, I think, in the segment. But for those that are in the segment that are probably going to be a little bit older, they just want something that's nostalgic, that looks nice, rides well, is easy to drive. If you're wanting to be in the upper echelon of the Buick Encore, this Essence is definitely the way to go. The Encore GX, sorry. And it's crazy, the more I drive this, the more I really, really like it. Especially, like, it's the week before Christmas. It's extremely crowded out here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's nice to have something like this as opposed to a big truck or even a mid-size SUV like this Mercedes in front of me. I'm getting 30 plus miles per gallon on a regular day, more than likely. And yeah, it's a 1.3 liter 3-cylinder, but it just feels really good to drive. Power feels good. Fuel economy, of course, is going to be good. It just makes sense. And with all that being said, this is going to bring me to the end of my review of the 2023 Buick Encore GX Essence.